Hello, and welcome to another edition of H. Paul Models. This being part 2 of the Dogfight double of the FW 190 and the Hawker Typhoon, Tempest, whatever you want to call it. So yes, I'm going to crack on with this. Now there's two things with this kit. Number one, I've lost the instructions. So I'm using the D-Day invasion kit, this one, which I built a little while ago. And the second thing is, when I built this particular Typhoon for the D-Day invasion thing, I made a bit of a pig's ear of it. So I'm hoping I can redeem myself. Time will tell. So, deep breath, let's get on with it. I've assembled the main components of the cockpit, so the seats together, the clocks together, the control rudders and column, everything else, and the side of the fuselage is all ready. So touch of 78, and then I will concentrate on painting the pilot. Now the 78 is dried, just add a little bit of detail to all the parts. I like my IF guys to be comfortable, especially what I'm about to do to him. It's a leather seat. Oh, there you go, make a bit of comfort for you. There we go. Yep. Now a bit on the control column. Probably a bit too, oh, definitely a bit too much there. Let's just take that paint off. And the cockpit floor gets a little dose of silver, just where his feet would slide up and down inside. I mean, most of this you're probably not going to see, but I like to add it. Rudder pedals. There we go. And the gun sight as well. So all the various parts are now painted. The cockpit is done, my cheeky little gun button on it. Inside the fuselages, I've just picked out some very minor details. Cockpit decals in, and I've painted the seat with a leather coat, and the pilot's done, so he's all painted up, ready to go. So I'll let that all cure and go off and settle and do what it's got to do, and then I'll assemble, put the fuselage together. Everything's together. So now it's time to join the fuselage hard. So as usual, little dabs of glue in all the pots. I call them pots, might be called something else, I don't know, but that's what I call them. And then I think this is going to be a bit of a faff, but we join the halves together and we'll see what occurs. Oh, me thinking it's going to be a faff, and I think it might actually be alright. The last one I did of these just refused to go together, and I had to really fight it. Oh, crikey, he says, throwing this one across the room. But it was a bit of a struggle, to be fair. Oh, this looks like it might actually work. And just get that. That's missed its wedge. So the gun sight's wonky, so I know that the clocks haven't sat straight. So if I go up with a pair of pliers, I might be able to push them in ever so gently. Tweezers I mean, not pliers. Just coax them in there like that, and then close it back down again. No, it's not having it. Well, that is a shame. I don't want to damage it. Oh, I thought it'd be a faff. Come on, stop being a fettle and let's get you in there. Just feel the back of those clocks and just nudge him in. That's it, that's got it. I felt it click. There we go. The gun sight's a bit low than it should be, but if we can just lift that up a little bit. We can but try. That's a bit better. And just put my larger clamps and clamp that together. Right, I do believe. Oh, look. Talk about major fascicle. There we go. Come on, give that a squeeze in, see if that'll go together. That's it. That's together. Right, it's together. Wowzers, that went so much better than the last one. The last one was a bit of a challenge. So let's get some Tamiya out and do my usual. Got it clamped, so I'm just going to run Tamiya down the seams, and then when it's all gone off I'll tidy the seams up. One down there like that. Bit down the tail plane. Although nose isn't exactly super tight, it will do. And underneath, that might need squidging together. In there. And the last section, which is this bit here. Again, I'll tidy up these sprue bits once it's glued. I'm seriously not too faffed about a bit of plastic. I know with this kit it can be difficult to join together, so I'm going to just put a hair clip on there just to squeeze that shut. This needs to be clamped somehow. If I put that one on there like that, get another clamp on there like that. That's it. I think that will stay where it is. And just let it go off. Now I'm going to fix the cannon into the wing whilst the fuselage dries. I've already drilled the holes for the rockets, I don't think you see them or not. And I've done a little tiny hole there for the wires to come through for the motor when I put it in. I'm pretty sure I've got all the rocket holes because it's very well defined in here. Got the rocket lines and then the lines for the drop tanks or bombs, which is really good actually, I must admit. And although I'm having the model in flight, I'm going to point out that the detail of these internal guns for the scale I think is really, really good. I've seen worse on 148 to be fair. So yeah, I think that's alright. So I'm going to stick those cannons in. So little blob in there. That's where the guide goes. Turn it up the other way and I'm just going to slide a bit of glue onto these flat sections Very carefully just drop it in there. There we go. The cannon are in. Very easy to fit, I like it, very good. I'll do the other one. Anywhere on these flat sections will do. And again, just drop it into place. It's yeah, it's very good. Just give them a good push down. They're in. Right, fitting the motor into the Typhoon Tempest, whatever you want to call it. I know it's a Typhoon, but yeah, it won't go through. So I'm going to take this drill bit, oh crikey, and drill it out, and then I'm going to just widen it with some of the tools there, just to make sure. But safety first, as always. I have my specs on, and I will hold this in these pliers just to make sure I don't do anything silly to myself. Fine. Now I'm going to get a little grinding tool out, which is this one. It is somewhat huge, maybe a bit too big actually. Maybe that's better. Yeah, I should use that tool. And see if the motor goes through now. Oh crikey, look, I've drilled that right through there. I might take it through the other way. Crikey, let's open that right up. Just the I'll put that in now. Well, it's in, and it's square, and I've used fillets to strengthen the joints and the bits that I'd cut away. So I'll let that go off, and then I'll backfill it from behind just to make sure it's got a good grip, probably with Humbrol, just to make sure it just stays in there, and the torque of the motor, which won't be a lot, but it'll be enough to twist it out of position. So I'll let that going to go off, and next I'm going to do the wings. Fuselage to wings. So I'm going to get a dab of glue all along here, and there, and in those corners, down here, around there, just to make sure that stays where it's supposed to go. And then on they go. Hair clips at the ready. And then just locate it in its positions, and with the hair clips secure that into place in its various locations. There we go. Oh, that just needs to be shifted over a tiny amount. Hasn't quite lined up. There we go. That's a nice fit. So we finished that off a little bit of Tamiya. To make sure that stays nicely sealed. There we go. That's got it. Right, just let that rest in its place now. Tailplane sections, as always, I always use a Humbrol polycement. It just gives me a better chance to get them aligned. As I said, it's got grippage. I like grippage when I'm gluing bits on. I want it to grip but then give me a time to move it. So just ease that in there like that. Do the same with this one. Come on. That's it. Hair clip came off. Went back on where it was. Now what I do is I square up the tail plane after I've cleaned off the excess glue with a cotton bud very quickly. I'll just square up the tail plane now with the wings. Just a little bit of a touch here and there. And then I use the instruction sheet, the right angle somewhere, just to make sure, yeah, I think that's pretty good. Now just let it all go off. Call me a cheapskate if you like. But I'm going to go straight on to the 64 matte light grey and use that as a primer as well, because it's almost the same colour as primer, and I figured, why not? Here we go. We've reached the nemesis of my modelling, invasion stripes. I can't do these toffee, but I'm going to try again. I've had 4 attempts and it's never been right. So, having watched one of my YouTubers I follow, Steam Geezer, who is, by the way, an absolute modelling genius, I am going to try his method. Now, it's not his fault if it doesn't go right, because I'm an amateur compared to him, and I'm very happy to say that as well. I basically want to give this a go, so I'm gonna tape it up. I'm going to use my airbrush and do very thin layers under low pressure to see if I can get this to work. Now, following the instructions, I'm going to mask up these areas. I need a point to which I can put the tape on, so it's the same on both aircraft, on both wings, sorry. So if I do that bit there, like that, I think that's in the wrong place. It's in the wrong place. Oh, bugger. I mean, oh crikey. I have already varnished the model, by the way, so the tape won't do any harm to the existing paintwork. I am quite pleased the way it's finished actually, so I don't really want to ruin it. Yeah, so I'm going to do my best not to. I'm going to use that piece there. Oh crikey. Use that angle bit there. See if I can get it square to the wing. Like that. Oh. That will do. As it's an, oh look, I've got a straight edge there, I can use that as a guide. Use that as a guide, there we go. And then it finishes in line with the second gun. So if I take that length there, I'm going to use that straight edge there as my marker. It might not be fabulously historically correct, but close enough is good enough. I just want to get stripes. Do the same with the other wing. And just very carefully line them up on the inside edges. Like that. Oh, nuts. Oh, cripes. And then, once these are all done, I shall try the airbrush out. So I'm going to carry on doing these, because I dare say you don't want to see me struggling like this. Maybe you do. I hope not. And then I shall go to the paint area and see what I can do. Right, the compressor's at around about 12 psi. I've got a 60-40 mix of Humbrol white. I'm going to turn my airbrush right down as accurate as possible. So, and I think it's just white that night's right. So I think I'm going to try this very, very slowly, working from the middle outwards. Not too bad at the moment. Give that a few minutes to dry, and I'm going to hit it with one final coat and then let it dry overnight and do the black stripes in the morning or the afternoon. Okay, the white paint's on, happy with that. I varnished it, so now I'm going to try and get this to be uniform at least. So that's 35mm, I'm hoping that's 35mm as well. Just a shade over, no it's not, it's there, 35mm, jolly good. So, 35mm, how wide is this stuff? This stuff is 7mm, so that's the first wing mast, and as best I can get it, each one of those stripes is around about 8mm wide. If anything, that one there is a little bit skew width, so I'm just going to peel that back. Use the other tweezers. That's it, just peel that one back and just get that a bit more square. That's better, and then just squeeze that in. That's it. Yeah, that's better. So yeah, it should be about 8mm, which they both are. Right, I'll do that to the other side, and then hopefully that will look halfway decent when I've airbrushed it. Right, the moment of truth. Deep breath. Right, I'm going to let that dry and then see what it looks like. Fingers crossed, praying to modelling gods, the gods of modelling, and that's going to be alright. Okay, the paint's dry. This is the moment of truth. God. Oh, so far so good. It is only one stripe. Well, that's the first wing, and I'm going to say it's a little bit not quite square, but what a vast improvement on my last effort. So I'll unwrap the other wing and then yeah, we'll see what it looks like. That's completely unwrapped, and it's not brilliant. I'm going to say it's not brilliant. There are some lines that aren't as square as I hope they be. There and there. But on the whole, that is a vast improvement on my previous efforts. So I think with more practice, I may finally get it. Yeah, I'm reasonably happy with that. Whilst the Typhoon is just settling, drying, whatever it's got to do, I've just been painting the last few bits, so the propeller, the disc behind the propeller, the nose cone for the prop and the two exhausts. I'll give them another coat because, for example, the Trainer 24 just isn't, I've got to do that again. The prop looks okay, the nose looks, it needs another coat, definitely. The exhausts I will probably do again anyway. I've left me pots there so I can find them. So yeah, that's something to do for a later time. But for now, I'm pretty happy with progress. Whilst the sprue parts are drying, I thought I'd have a go at the decals. So I'm going to slide that onto there. That one onto, try and miss the number. Slide that onto there. Give it another soaking with the old decal fix. And then position them. Back of the scalpel, similar to the 190. I reckon about there will do. There we go, I think they're aligned. Just double check everything. And I've used that as a little tiny right angle shape in the panel line there, so I'm just going to use that as my reference for both wings, like that. Now I'm just going to soften them a bit more because they are quite large decals. I know there's other brands on the market for decals and whatnot, but this is the brand I use because of club points and everything else that comes along with it, discounts and whatnot. So yeah, I find it works, so I've got no reason to change as such. Just letting that soften a little bit. Always take the excess off with a cotton bud. Just letting them soften, and then I take the cotton bud. It's a shame that's not square, it doesn't look right to me. No, that's a real shame that. Maybe that one needs to be moved over a little bit. Let's just clean that off of there. I didn't think it was that bad, to be fair. I've lost the panel line now. That actually looks better. Yeah, that looks better now. Right, and then I just I roll them, roll the air out, and I find only after a few seconds the decal will form to the panel lines like it is now. So yeah, I'm quite happy with Decal Fix. It might not be the best product on the market, but with a discount and everything else I get with it, I figured, why not? Here we go, see panel lines through that now. I'll do the same to this side. And there we go. Both decals are on. I'm going to move that one because I can see where it's not quite straight with that square. So with Decal Fix you can move them again, I find anyway. Or maybe I can't, maybe that's stuck. Oh, it is going, it is going. There we go, cover that square up like that and then it'll be perfect, near enough. Yeah, that's it. Let's give that another roll. There we go. I think that's adequate. Oh, bugger, I touched that up with a brush. I'll actually I won't. Bit of chipping. Anyway, I'll carry on with the rest and then show you how far I've got later on. The decals that I can see, a lot of them I can't see on the decal sheet, my eyes just aren't good enough anymore. But anyway, the decals that I can see are on, and I'm actually quite happy. I used the invasion stripes and got them on the bottom. Alright, they're not historically accurate, they're not to the kit, but I'm happy with it, and that is the main point of modelling, I think. Enjoy what you're building, enjoy the build. So all I've got left to do is the propeller, put that together and then glue that on, and then it'll be time to give her a varnish, run her up, put her on the stand. Right, time to fix the prop. So the prop's assembled. All I've got to do is paint the yellow bits, but I don't do that until the very end. I've drilled the hole into the prop, so now I'm going to do my usual, which is apply filler into it, get it in there as deep as I can. It's quite a big hole, this one, to get through to the prop, so I just want to make sure that it's adequately full with filler. Really get it in there. Now what I think happens with this method is I put the filler in there, then I add the super glue, and I think the super glue hardens the filler ultra quick, and it just grips the motor shaft really well. So I think that's what's happening. Anyway, the filler's going in nicely. And get yourself a cotton bud. Just clean the excess off. Oh, off there as well. That was an accident. There we go. Just make sure there's none that can touch the fuselage. We get a little bit of new tube of super glue because the other one was way gone. The smallest dab on that shaft. That's more than enough. Push that on there. Take the prop, offer it up, and then settle it on ever so carefully, being careful to leave a very small gap between the prop and the body. We really don't want the motor fighting friction between the prop and the body. We just let that settle for a little while. Make sure it's as square as I can get it. It doesn't look too bad to me. So there we go, my version of a Dogfight double, Triumph and Folkwolf 190. Triumph? Biker Days, Typhoon and Folkwolf 190. Both with spinning props. And yeah, not particularly historically accurate, not my best builds, but I had to test my ability with Invasion Stripes just one more time. I think I may have a curse of a Typhoon. I think that's my problem. I'm going to build something else, I think. Get my mojo back. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you do so, please like it. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And I'll see you on the next episode. Cheers!